Table for the panels, I would like to share a few things with you. They talk about ODM and OEM just now. So, for your information, ODM and OEM means Original Equipment Manufacturing or OEM, and ODM is Original Design Manufacturing. So, like Mr. Sujak said just now, designer, but the product was designed by a boss. So basically, as a past experience as intern, we learned 3D, we got skills. But what we do is just that we draw 3D software. So we are not the one who designing it. So ODM actually is proposing that we design products for Malaysia. So that's why we invited this panel to share their experience. They're talking about industry, how to boost the future furniture industry, how to boost the design industry in Malaysia. So don't feel low that if you're a designer and maybe some parents say, hey, why you study design, right? Just keep drawing, I also know lah. But actually, designing was well respected in the other countries, China and America. So it's time for Malaysia, it's time for us to do a part of the job. And now let's invite all of panels and share their experience, and we have a sharing section with all of you. Give them a big clap. So, as the moderator of this forum, so first of all, I would like to say, you can see now we see Industrial 4.0, we don't have any script on our hand, so we use smartphone, right? Okay, so the first question I want to ask is that, we're talking about ODM, Original Design Manufacturing. So what is the next step that actually the big industry can provide us in order to promote more ODM in Malaysia?
Alright, like I mentioned to you that in China, OEM is being phased out. Basically, last time OEM basically is the customer comes with a set of design, please produce this for me, how much? Or they can't tell you, oh, people are doing for me $10 US, can do for me $9 US. No, that was present, cheaper and cheaper. So now China says, you come to visit them, they say, okay, these are my designs. You pick and see what you like, my price. Okay? Yala. So that's where you want to move away from. The buyers don't dictate the price anymore. That's what the original brand is, ODM. Sorry, not brand, original design talking about. That's the difference.
Can I share something? Okay. So when we talk about ODM, and we relate to the Industrial 4.0, how we design it, we need to change. You know, right now a lot of European brand, they start to move their production to Asia. It's not only China. Okay, China right now has become a little bit expensive, so they start to move into Taiwan, to Indonesia. So that's a few years back, maybe 20 years ago. Right now they start to move to other countries in Asia, and some of them they start to move their production to Balkan country because of the cost issue, currency, and besides change the production plan, they start to move their the way they produce the design, which means the inspiration. They start to move the Asian kind of feeling, because this is my experience when we go to Europe tour, to exhibition, we can see a lot of rigid design. Okay, a lot of rigid design. That's why, okay, I'm also a lecturer in university. I know that when we give a design brief to students, first two things they will do is Pinterest and Google Image, right? Seriously. I know, because I give to brief my students very fast. Like, that is not good actually, because your design will influence by others. So when we talk about ODM, yes, we can do own design manufacturing, but the issue is it our design or others' design? is it beautiful or unique? Okay, it's not only about we design ourselves, we talk about we design it and we make it our own design. Okay?
So we know that Industrial 4.0 is moving in, but I would like to ask Tuan Haji Makpa. So we know that actually right now the wooden industry in Malaysia is still using human power, right, in the production factory. So it's currently considered as Industrial 2.0. So now by implementing Industrial 4.0, does it really affect much, or actually we need to use the manpower to continue the production to ensure better quality of wood industry?
There are a few scope for 4.0 in furniture industry. Maybe in marketing, in one aspect, in manufacturing, another aspect. When we talk about the workers, most likely in manufacturing sector, maybe we need to study currently which part or which process we need to automate, which process, which part we need to mechanize or to use robot in order for us to reduce numbers of workers. Mr. Albert started in his presentation this morning with request to government to provide how many thousand workers? That's the what we call the issues currently request by the industries to acquire more workers for their production line. That's why for furniture industry 4.0, maybe we need to conduct a study to identify which part of manufacturing process we need to automate, we need to mechanize, or we need to replace with robot. And after that, we can reduce the numbers of workers. That maybe the overall issues of furniture industry in Malaysia. Tapi saya tak tahu timeline how long we furniture industry we can replace with robotic, or maybe we can shoot innovation and technology to produce simple robotic to replace certain process of furniture manufacturing. Maybe you need to collaborate this faculty with faculty of engineering, for example, to produce simple robotic in order to replace manpower. Kalau kita berjaya to replace robot to manpower tadi, we can reduce numbers of foreigner in Malaysia, especially in furniture sector. Satu lagi maybe saya nak sentuh the first issue mentioned by Mr. Moderator regarding ODM. I would like to your role as a student or as a designer. Apa yang kami buat actually also to nurturing young designer to be players in furniture industry in Malaysia. Saya pernah menjadi penilai Rekabentuk di salah sebuah universiti di negara kita. Malangnya, when you design certain design, you tak habis sampai stage yang boleh diterima oleh pihak industri. Sometimes you just give an idea to the to furniture industry, but not complete. For me, if you are a good designer, you should propose good design, complete with the bill of material, for example, detailed drawing, and after that until packaging and marketing of the product. That's why maybe your role as a student, maybe you can develop as many as possible design, and after that you promote yourself to the furniture industry in Malaysia through government agency like MTIB, or maybe through association like Mr. Albert. And we maybe MTIB or persatuan boleh macam bridge between designer yang ada talent to produce good design dengan manufacturers. That's my pandangan.
I'd like to add a few things. Number one, itu pasal selalu kita tembak, sometimes we also get wrong bullet. 185,000 is the request from the whole industry of Malaysia, not furniture industry. Itu pasal selalu dia tembak-tembak, also kena stray bullet. Tak apa. But actually it's the whole manufacturing industry in Malaysia. Now the other one is furniture is very unique in the sense that from the other industry. Other industry use only one media. Macam plastic, you just put a mold and you can get robotic out. But wood, you've got so many types of wood. So something like a hard, medium, then the grade is different. So that's where your industry design, your designer need to understand. So it's actually not an easy thing to do designing furniture. You need to understand wood, how to manufacture, how to join, what thing. Because sometimes we have seen a lot of this design competition. Oh, you canggih sampai boleh terbang, tetapi number one, tak boleh pakai, number dua, cannot produce. And if you can produce, tak boleh jual. You know that kind of thing happening. So that's why there is we really feel there's an impetus. It's very important to push that designers must come into our industry. You must understand what can our machinery do. We don't always have robotics. Sometimes the only robots we have is a name called robot, that's why, from Bangla. Robot binapa to robot ni, that's the only one we have. So we need to understand this. And sometimes you'll be surprised at what you can learn. You step behind this old carpenter. The way they do, when they did the things, it's remarkable. I just came back from Laos. They're still doing, table saw, wood. And they're producing, not as good, but they're able to do it. So you can see if you stand behind these people, this old craftsmen, you can do a lot of things behind. So this is the thing we learn. So I say again, MTIB, the KP selalu ketawakan saya, you and your salted egg story. But I believe we cannot overemphasize. You have to run down. You must come in the environment. You are only as good as you can solve problem. No problem, anybody can. But Bangla also can sit in a place. But when you have a problem, how do you solve? When you have a design problem, how do you solve it? That's where the value shines. So that's why I say, unless you run down inside the environment, you are not able to understand the solution to it. And that's my part of it.
So as we understand that one of the things that I really feel is that talking about the competition, sampai boleh terbang kan, when you go to production cannot produce, and when the market cannot market. So actually right now we're going in a Q&A session for the audience, and there's one question actually very fun from Mr. Sujat Facebook. He asked that it's also a question for you guys. I think I'll ask this question for him now maybe. So how much does designer understand the importance of the market needs? He said I'm a stalker, but really, Mr. Suja, he always throw a lot of questions for you to brainstorming. So I really like what he did, because sometimes you stop Facebook just looking at pictures and latest news, but suddenly we came up with something about design. So what does designer really understand about market needs? So beside the question you can ask for the panels, you can maybe, if you got an answer for this, you can try and answer the question. So any questions from the audience?
Alright, Assalamualaikum and morning. Okay, I have one question. Because normally last couple of years, I'm one of the panel yang develop master plan the furniture industry 2006 until 2050. And yang mana the blueprint will be bawa ke cabinet next year to endorsement. And I found a lot of problem in the furniture industry. And I just noticed one itu berkaitan dengan we have a lot of talented design. We have a lot of very, what you call is, we have a unique design. We have many designers that can produce a unique design. But I found that the industry not ready to take the design. Because normally, maybe in terms of the cost, when they produce the design by our local designer, then they need to change a lot, especially on the machine and etc. Then normally the common practice by industry, they just buy a design from the overseas, then do a little modification. After that, the production then send to go back to the maybe from the required country. So I think this question will be answered by Mr. Albert from the perspective of the industry. Thank you.
Yes. You see, the problem is right now is, when you graduate from a designer, you go into the factory, the most important thing is, the factory is concerned is, can it produce something, your design, so that it enhances value and its income. So that's why the thing is, so you come in, design for him, you look at it, boleh jual ke? You know what I'm saying? So it's a unique tapi boleh jual ke? So that's why you see, not to praise the Chinese, but their model is, first year, the designer works in a factory to understand the manufacturing process. Second year, they go jaga kedai, so they can maki, tegur the customer, then they understand what is the design, what they want. So this is the process they come out. The third year, then they understand. Now, we developing designs of our branding ourselves, essentially is like that. If you are not branded, orang tak tahu, you just come out from college, nobody's going to manufacture a design. It doesn't add value. Now, if my friend beside me, orang sudah kenal, ini sudah ada nama, he's got value. And I always tell you a story, we went to Beijing. There was this sofa, no legs, 1L, no legs. It was not of leather, it was just a velvet, and the color was like a Christmas tree, and it was selling for 300,000 RMB. Only one piece, 300,000 RMB. Why? Because it just looked like designed by Kenzo. You could probably design, some of the students could probably design something better than that, because it's designed by Kenzo. So you begin to see the branding. So that's why our friend here begin to understand this. So then the students must understand there's a building up process. We also begin to talk to MTIB. We talk about the Formula Car F1 process. That you must begin to reach this level where you are marketable. Then you can sit down and design a canggih design. Okay, cannot sell, cannot make, but only one piece, like the F1 cars. But you have in your stable, your repertoire, 20 design which is common one, like a seat, like that, table like this, but design sujak. Then the customer will say, okay, boleh cakap, boleh bincang. So this is a level that we want to bring up. The designers must be able to marketed now, before the design can be marketed. So understand this. So there's a building up process. There's a time where you need to struggle through, and then once you hit it, then you begin to sell. You sell, your image sells. They can draw a square like that, you sign your name here, it will sell a few $1,000s. Immediately, Professor K, if he comes on design, I will hire him. Do some marketing, canggih, handsome. It's all about marketing and packaging. So you begin to understand this. This is the thing that you come out, you got no package, you got no nama, you know nothing, nobody will pay you. That's the whole thing. The industry is very straightforward. The government might help to incubate you, but the industry will not until you can add value to their production. That's the situation. Thank you.
So any more questions from the audience? Yes.
My name is Mohammad Asrar Ramli. I'm going to ask a quick question. What are the main problems in furniture industries nowadays?
What are the main problems in furniture industry nowadays? Main problem.
How much time do I have?
For this question, maybe 2 minutes.
So we say, you heard of 3P. We in the industry also got 3P. What is 3P? Problem.
Never end.
So that's why it's a challenge. So that's why it's a very good industry to engage in, because it really brings you up. Like I said just now, you can only be tested and see a value when you face a problem, how you solve the problem. So if you are really a problem solver, you meet up to the cabaran, come into the industry. Always got problems for you. That's I can tell you. Semua ada problem.
Okay, now we have the time for one last question from the audience. Yes. Someone pass her the mic, please.
Yes. Then you ask the question here first.
Okay, first. Sorry.
I would like to ask a question to Mr. Suja. How much does a designer understand the importance of marketing research, and what is your perspective?
Like my question is Facebook.
What is your perspective? We would like to know your perspective.
Okay, it's a very good question. Very good you repeat back the question. Okay. Okay. Actually, when you enter to industry, there's a few ways to work. Okay. There are sometimes the production-based design or material-based design. Whatever it is, the important thing, who will buy your product. So